y'all, thank you so much for joining me for what I've been warming February 10th through the 21st. I'm going to share all the Scentsy empties that I've gotten through during that time period and some updates on some current scent of the months, as well as a couple of updates on the 10 new release scents. As a quick reminder, I do use mostly 25 watt and up Scentsy warmers as I am a Scentsy consultant. Those warmers are on for 15 hours a day. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so we can stay in touch. Since this is the transition season, I have been doing a lot of warm reviews, and I've decided that I'm going to try to share my empties this week a little bit differently. So I am going to pull the limited time offers that are currently available, like Scent of the Month or collections that are limited time, and share any of those that I melted in the first section of this video. Then I'll share all the other things that I warmed. And if I can, at the end, I want to share my experience with second melting and feedback from samples on the 10 new release scents. Now, this is currently available as a scent of the month. It's in its little window of availability. It's Petals and Peaches, and I am surprisingly enjoying this bar. I'm melting quite a bit of it. This bar lists as having freesia in it, stone fruit, amber, and I believe warm vanilla as a component of it. It is a perfumey bar, and I feel like because of when this bar came out, there was a lot of noise in the space of this type of scent because we had the Valentine's Day collection. And if I was to stack this bar, Petals and Peaches, up against Apricot Clouds and Peppered with Kisses, which are also perfumey leaning bars, this would be my top choice. And I vastly prefer it to Sweet Peas and Freesia, which is one of the 10 new scents. So I am going to make sure to grab a couple of these to have it through the spring season. I get at least 15 hours typically, and it's just so crowd pleasing in my home, very warm and beautiful. I did do a little short warm review for Isle of Clover. I'll put a link here for it if I can, just so that you can take a look at my full review if you want to. This is in my club. I popped it in my club because I had a club shipping and I wanted to see what this bar was about. And I feel like this bar, at least for now, is going to be staying in my club. The scent notes here are green apple, fresh grass, and meadows of clover leaf, and I get all of those notes. I do think you have to be comfortable with the green apple and grass and clover leaf because they feel almost equal measure, and all of those notes to me stay present the whole time that it warms. I do get about 1 day out of it, so just about 15 hours before I really want to change it. But I don't think there's anything in the 10 new release bars or in the catalog that comes close to this, and I'm definitely going to want to have these for at least the spring and summer. Now this is Strawberries and Cream. It's also a scent of the month and available in limited time. I do feel like maybe we're going to be getting all of our spring summer bakery in limited time offers. This lists as strawberry preserves with whipped cream and a zest of lemon. I don't pick up the lemon here at all. I've also heard some comparisons to strawberry lemon cake. And while I understand the comparison, I feel like there are very key differences in those bars. I think the reason it's drawing that comparison is because there's a cake note in this that I think is not listed in the scent notes, and that cake note may be similar. But the strawberry here to me is much more macerated. It's a heavier strawberry. There is no perceptible lemon, and the whipped cream is a equal parts dominant note. Now, I did melt this 3 different times in my office, in my bedroom, and in my closed concept living. And in my bedroom, I got into the second day of kind of the remembrance of the scent. But in all spaces, I got a beautiful full 15 hours of a really glorious, to my nose, cake and cream spring scent. Now, I have emptied another Woolly Slippers, and we have to talk about this because this is one of the bars that I got from Bring Back My Bar that just happened. And let me show you really quickly what I got in my club. I got a club shipment of 6 of these incredibly old Woolly Slippers bar. And this is really changing kind of my thoughts on Woolly Slippers in general, because when I got this Woolly Slippers bar that was old in my club, I can't smell the fragrance. It doesn't smell at all like the ones that I got at Bring Back My Bar. Now, I have smelled older bars, and I did think that I would like to age some of my Woolly Slippers bars. So at first, I thought this would be a great bar to have in my club. But the fact that I, in my club, got these incredibly old bars, and I still haven't gotten an answer back on what they're going to do about that 6 days later, I'm going to be holding off on melting any more Woolly Slippers for a minute. Now, a bar that I can obviously melt anytime. This is from February of 24, Creme de Menthe. This is throwing like a beast, and it did not change or turn. And this bar was a year old when I put it in. I love this fragrance. To me, it's reminiscent of an Andes without the chocolate. It's a beautiful spun sugar, sweet peppermint, garden mint fragrance, and I'm glad to have it and keep it in my club because I know it's aging well. Now, another bar that is from the Mardi Gras collection that I actually got through two of. One is from early 2024 from its original run, and the other is new from my club, and they are identical in performance and fragrance. So, this is another bar that I'm excited to keep in my club. This is Sugared Beignets, Smoky Vanilla, and Midnight Lily, and I love melting this in my kitchen. The beignet here is so beautiful, and I do find that this partner melts or just kind of alternate room melts with so many other fragrances that it's just a great everyday kind of fragrance. I mean, I don't melt anything every day, but I melt this very, very frequently. If you watch my empties, you see it in my empties a lot. Now, one of the reasons you're seeing two bars here, one that's from my original purchase and then one that is from my new club, is I have instituted a new club rule for myself. Essentially, I've established a 6 bar limit on any bar that I'm carrying in my quarterly or bi monthly club. So I look at my stash. If I have 6 bars and I do not use that sixth bar before the club ships, that club is going to have that bar removed from it. I know that may sound a little bit extreme, but for me, it's very helpful to help me keep melting bars that I actually love and not get distracted by all of the other bars. And it's, I think, going to help me make those seemingly painful but necessary cuts to clubs. Now, that was the rule. This is the exception. This is frosted ginger cookie, and if I had 12 of these, I would allow myself to have 12 of these. To be clear, I'm not anywhere close with this bar. I am melting it within the rule, but I would allow myself to go over on this bar, and I did give myself like 3 exception slots, and this is the only bar that lives in the exception slots that I've allotted for myself right now. We survived a drought of not having access to this bar for a very long time. It's just a beautiful, chewy brown sugar cookie that has a smooth vanilla note and a dominant, fresh, candied ginger note that's exceptional, beautiful, unique, rare. I love it. And I'm so grateful that I have this fragrance in my club. I get great performance out of it. So it is my exception to the club rule. Now, caramel sugar cone is back to the rule. This is not immune from the 6 bar rule. And you can see I have one old and one new in here because it is fighting for its life to stay at that under 6 bar limit. It's gooey caramel, vanilla sugar cone, and a touch of malt. I love this fragrance, and I feel like I should partner melt it way more than I do. This is one of the fragrances that I really love. It's great with coffee fragrances. It partner melts with lots of bakery. I have partner melted this beautifully with even some perfumey and floral leaning scents. So the fact that the number ever got even close to 6 is surprising to me and one of the big reasons why I instituted this rule. It's a beautiful and to me rare caramel scent that has this capacity to be not heavy in the air. So I love it. I want it to stay in my club, so I'm going to make sure that I'm melting it as frequently as I need to make that happen. Now, it's a transition month, so you have to understand most of my melting the past 2 weeks has been based on me trying to make a decision about what I want to put into my club, what I want to purchase before the catalog turns, and make me snickerdoodle falls into that category. And I was so surprised at how much I loved this bar. It's cookie dough, brown sugar, vanilla bean, and I think cinnamon sugar. It is a warm, heavier bakery than I recalled, and it does kind of last fully into the second day. I think I got right around 20 hours. I didn't get a full 2 days out of it, but it's a beautiful, robust scent that does blend really well. And when I saw that there was no new bakery in the catalog for the spring and summer, I thought, do I need to add this to my club? I decided not to. I just stocked up on it because I have king cake in my club, which wins hands down. I melted in my open concept apple spice season. I usually only keep this going for one day. I cannot remember if this does extend into the second day. There's some scents that, even if they're still going, I might change them out. And this is one of them because I really do enjoy it, but it is an apple juice scent to me. It lists with apple, pumpkin, and sparkling spices. But for me in my home, everybody feels like it smells like a beautiful apple juice. So it's lovely, but it's playful and it's not something that I really want to carry into the second day. It's a scent that I like to have in a rotation, but not one that I would want to just let go for a couple of days, even if it could. I think this one may die off, but I do always get a full day of it when I melt it. It's a fun apple scent. I don't think I need it in my club, but it's a good bar. Now let's talk a little bit about some updates on the 10 new release bars. This is Ocean Shimmer, and I really have no update. I'll put my reviews and a link up here, hopefully, so that you can see I love this bar. It's my number one from the 10 new release. It kind of shares that spot with Barefoot Beach, but I had folks come over who tried samples, and this is universally getting rave reviews in my neck of the woods. Now, if you watched my warm reviews of Sweet Pea and Freesia, you know that I did not particularly love this fragrance. I found the intensity to be good, but I needed 6 of these cubes in my bedroom to get the throw to where I could really appreciate the scent everywhere in the space. So I do think this bar has a lighter throw, and that may still be true. But what I have to share is I had 2 cubes left, and I put those 2 cubes in my bathroom, and it was like I walked into a wall of freesia. This is a very floral forward bar, and I do think it's well balanced if you're a floral lover, but I was surprised at how intense it was in the smaller space. I really enjoyed freshwater sage. It lists with citrus, bergamot, tea leaves, and marine musk. This to me is almost like a hotel series scent. It is a more perfumey scent, and I can see how it is in the sage family, but it is not a sage forward scent, and I don't pick up sage in the scent note at all. And that bummed me out about the scent, but I do still love it and plan to pick up some more. Now, Pearlescent Coast, this is the bar that changed the most to me from cold to warm. It is a floral forward, fresh scent. It smelled a little sharp to me on cold. That dissipates completely on warm. It has lotus blossom, bamboo, and apricot musk. This is a bar that we have been melting in bedrooms, and we're able to go 2 cubes at a time in a lot of spaces. So it's a really good performer, and I think this is not one that like I would club, but this is one that we're likely to maybe pick up another bar of. Just a nice floral leaning fresh scent. Sweet lime and peach is one that I also enjoyed on the first day. And then on the second day, I found it leaned a little bit smelling like Sprite. I shared in my warm reviews, which is not a bad thing to someone's point in my comment section, but it just wasn't a scent that we wanted to continue on for multiple days. I don't find the garden mint to be very present. It's more just like you might have a zest of lemon. I think they have a zest of mint in this bar. So it's a nice aromatic scent, but doesn't really have any peach that I can discern. Italian Sunshine is another one that I'm holding fast to my original warm reviews kind of feedback. And I have gotten very consistent positive feedback from folks that took samples of this from me. It's a beautiful fragrance. I feel like a majority of the 10 new release scents do lean into that perfumey kind of aromatic space, and this is no exception, but it does have a depth of coziness that I don't think exists in any of the other bars. It has that bergamot with that warm amber that I think is providing that depth of coziness. And then it has, I think, sweet berries and coconut listed. I really do appreciate the tone of that bar. Barefoot Beach is a bar that I've now open concept melted, and I love it as much as I did. It's still my number 2, but maybe tied for number 1 with Ocean Shimmer. This bar is a powerhouse. I did 2 cubes in my warm reviews for my office space, and it filled the space. It was just a champion performer, and I've now warmed this in my open concept, and it was awesome. 6 cubes, beautiful fragrance. To me, I really pick up that driftwood note. It says it's warm sands with coconut and macadamia over island driftwood, and this is going to be one of my top scents of the summer, and I'm looking forward to alternate melting it with Ocean Shimmer, my other number one. Now, Desert Twilight is an interesting bar in that I feel like this bar does lean into the kind of clean fragrance trend. And I do find this beautiful. It is one of those bars to me that when it's warming, if you didn't know it was warming, you may not think that wax was melting at all. But then when it's off, you would miss its presence. Saguaro Blossom is kind of an over ripened melon fragrance. And so you do pick that up gently in the notes. But the sandalwood and clay provide just a neutral palette for that that's quite lovely. Wild for Wildflowers is one that I have an update on. Now, if you watched my warm reviews of the 10 new release bars, you know that I put this in my bedroom and it was a powerhouse. I found it beautiful and reminiscent of the Dumbo bar that I love, but I did not love the location that I melted this in. This is tangerine, lychee, and it lists with wildflower, and I think yuzu is the other fruit in there. The wildflowers are definitely in the background of this fragrance, but for me, because I had it in the bedroom the first time, it felt like I was keeping the lights on all night long. It's just a bright and energetic, beautiful scent. So I did melt this in my open concept with my remaining cubes, and I was so thrilled, you guys. The performance was great. I do think there is a chance that Wildflowers may knock the Dumbo Soarin' High Through the Sky bar out of my club. Island Bloom has remained consistent, and I do think it's one of the longer lasting bars. I left this in my office for an extended period of time, and even though there was a drop off to the fragrance, I could still smell it. I do believe, just like I said in my warm reviews, this to me smells like you've got a Starburst candy melting in your warmers, and it is just playful and fun and beautiful. In no way is it like saccharine sweet. It definitely is like natural sugars from the starfruit and watermelon that are providing that playful sweetness. But this to me is an actual fruity bar from this new collection that is just one of my favorites. I really do enjoy it, and I can see us melting quite a bit of this. And so I have officially emptied at least one bar of each of the 10 new fragrances in multiple locations, and I feel pretty confident in where I stand with all of these bars. I do think it's a nice collection, and I feel like they belong together. For me, this almost seems like a hotel series launch or something of additions to the catalog, so I appreciate that aspect of it, and I do feel like they're playing in some new trends with fragrance, which I also love. I'd love to hear what you've been melting in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.